everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and this morning I am going to attempt to, I won't be able to show literally every single page, but I'm going to try my best to show the bulk. We'll see how far we get, but I am going to show all my mixed media, collage, and altered books. I wanted to try to do that recording this weekend just by myself with no chat, but I didn't get it done. So, good morning, everybody that's here. This is a live show on Ustream. I'm recording and it'll be up on YouTube later, hopefully, fingers crossed. Every now and then there's an issue. I'd hate to have to record this again, but how do I keep my mojo? Marie, I believe that 90% of inspiration is in your butt. You sit down, you open up a book, and you just do something. Okay, so these are all the requests that I got a while back when I asked everybody what they'd like to see me do, and this is one of them. Flip through all my mixed media journals. So without further ado, I don't know if I'll get it done in one part. If it looks like I'm going into 2.5 hours and I still got another stack, I'll continue on. I have till 1 o'clock. So I have 4 hours. So let's see if we can get crack-a-lackin'. Okay, so these two are two of my older ones. Again, I did not literally pull every journal off the shelf. I have a shelf over here by my door, floor to ceiling, that is packed of journals that I've done in the last pretty much 8 years since I started streaming. These two here, I think this is from 2011. This might be from 2011 too. So I cannot literally do every single journal. You could ask Suze when she was here, all the Wall O journals, but I'm going to show the bulk of them. So this one was from 2011. And some of it, look, this was before I even started doing adult color books. This is clip art. This is from a clip art book that I colored and cut out and used in a journal. Okay, I got a glare right there. Let's see. So I'll probably have to be readjusting light, but we're gonna try. So I'm just gonna kind of do a quick flip. This was a one of the Canson mixed media books, the blue cover ones, and for a while I was deconstructing. This is a large one of the same thing. I took them out of the rings and I put them in book rings so that they would flip easy. Yes, I know, got a ton, right, Suze? So I'm just going to kind of flip through some of them. This one had little, again, these are clip art. Let's go this way. These were clip art. Hang on, guys. My camera's crooked. Oh, wait. I'm on a wall. These are clip art, and I turned them into little doors. And then on the inside here, these are also clip art, and I colored them like I would the color book nowadays. Nowadays. Like 2011 was forever ago. But anyway, and so I did a little verse in there. This is on parchment, like the old parchment. And so I did some little doors here, some little velvet ribbon, and calligraphy on the inside. So yeah, and a lot of this was like, just testing. Like, okay, let's test some glitter. Let's test, a lot of it's just different stencil. It's not necessarily completed pages. Here's where we did I say we because most all of these were done on stream. Okay. That's why it's called streams. And this was the clip art inkjet printer transfer. So these are transfers here. Again, yeah, Dover clip art, yes. So here's just different techniques, different tests, different things that we just, did. Again, here's another Dover clip art coloring before color books. And I say before color books. I mean before the color books that we color now, the adult color book. You remember a lot of these, Jean? Yeah. Jean, I probably dedicated this page to you. When it happened, when I did it, I'm sure. So yeah, all different just things. giant, I don't know. It's really a hodgepodge. Here's when I went to the Dolly exhibit. Um, so somebody wanted me to, I just inked a Dolly from the little brochure. Here's some things like, I had one of me hold, I was wearing a mustache, but there's after I went to the Dolly Museum. Oh, there's the mustache right there. I bought one of those fake mustaches. I think I had it on here somewhere, but anyway. Um, and this painting right here, I know I say it every time I show this. This painting is humongous. If you've never seen a ginormous Dolly painting, see that person right here? He painted himself into the painting. That is a 6 foot, that's 5'6", however tall he was. That's a life-size figure. To give you an idea how big this is, that's a life-size figure right there. It's huge. And when you're standing right there in front of it, it looks like you're looking up through the glass. It's just really amazing. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm going to have to try not to get too many rabbit trails. Here's where Paula, I think I did this one. No, maybe this isn't the one, but we did a couple for Paula when she had her ankle surgery. So this was like for Paula. There's some more in here too. Sewing one with fabric, circus. Here's one. This right here, this painting I did of these shoes. I used this painting as an example. I mean, this was my sketch. I did a painting for one of Boo's, I don't know how long, 11, 12, 5, 6, 7 years ago. She's 15, so 7 years ago. How old would she have been? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. She would have been like 8, 7 or 8. So her third grade teacher, maybe. So I did a painting for Boo's third grade teacher. With these painting of these shoes, and again there's just some scrape stuff there, nothing on those, nothing there. So anyway, so here's some more just loose ones. So this one was from 2011. I'm gonna try to make neat stacks because I've got I mean literally guys, not including, let me see if I can show y'all this. I showed it a minute ago. So here's what I'm going to try to get through today. I'm going to try to get through all this. It's probably not going to happen. But anyway, okay, so this one, this was a scrapbook paper that looked like a door, and it's only this big. So I added like paint and stuff around the edges. These are real hinges. This was a faux hinge. This is a paper hinge. And, okay, got a little dark since I messed with it. Hang on. I messed with it. There we go. So if you have any questions, put them in caps. Otherwise, I'm going to roll here. Okay, so this one, again, these were Celtic knots out of clip art. And I'm pretty sure this was like 2011, 12, somewhere back then, too. And again, they're all deconstructed. And these were like, see, look, here's loose pages. This one was done for a Memorial Day thing. We did a lot of themes. We did a lot of themes back then. This was for Thanksgiving. And some were backgrounds. Some were, here's another big butterfly. Here's where we did a big giant get well for Paula. Get well, Paula, all your peeps. So, these are some of the oldest ones that I have from Stream. I've done, you know, other collages and mixed media and stuff before streaming, but when I started streaming like around 8 years ago, and I've only been uploading to YouTube for somewhere around close to 5 years now, because I streamed for like 4 years, maybe only 4 years on YouTube. And so these are not on YouTube. These are just way back from, you know, when we first started on Ustream. And I did a painting based off of this one. Clutching Pearls, Janet. Let's see, what else do we have here? So we did a lot of themes and a lot of techniques and a lot of testing. was a lot of testing going on. This one was all the peeps doing with a certain scrapbook paper and had them all talking. And this one was, I had a little contest to name this one. And see, they're just like, compared to what I call finished now, this one is the one I based my painting on. Do I dare go dig it out? Let's see if I can do it quickly. Hang on, let's see if I can find it quick. Hang on, I'm flipping. I'm under the table, flipping. Where is that one? Oh. I was hoping I could find it quick, but I'm not finding it. I can't do too many of these rabbit trails or I won't get done. Here, okay, I found it. Okay, I found it. So this one I did in 2011. So using this as a collage, as a sketch, then I did this painting. So this painting, it's all paint. There's no collage in this. So this painting, and I varnished it, so you can see. This was done based on this sketch. Hey, Mountain Dreamer, everybody else popping in, thanks for being here. So, a lot, back when I had more time, or when I wasn't streaming, I could use my collages. They never had to really be complete. They never had to be like a full-on mixed media finished page, because they were my sketches. They were my, you know, pre-painting sketches for doing paintings like this. So, this one is from 2011. Okay, so anyway, there's that little sample. Let's keep moving. I have a painting on this one. I forgot about that. I had paintings for this. Let's see. If I can flip to it quickly. Okay, found it. So this collage, I did this painting. So again, this is all paint, no collaging on my paintings. So here is the painting. And this was the lunar eclipse back in 2011. That's what this is based on. The lunar eclipse that happened that year. It's all painted. It's all painted based on this sketch. So, you know, it's not exact like the cloud. You know, everything's, you know, I painted this. So, I added more mountains in her face, defined the crown of a watch. So, yeah. Okay. So, I know this is going to take a while. But, oh well. So anyway, this one, based on the scene I forget, I can't tell you all exactly everything that we were thinking about when we did these, because we did them on stream. This one was based on Egypt. And again, I did these initially to do paintings from. And so when I would stream them, I was thinking about the paintings I would make from them. But then, you know, I didn't stick with the painting part of it. I went more with keeping the art journaling and mixed media part of it going. But these were initially done to make paintings from. So, yeah, there's blank ones. Okay, here's a jingle. This was Jingle Bell. So these are, we hand drew the, I say we because when we're here and we're all talking and chatting, it's we. I just feel like we are doing it, you know. But anyway, hand drew all these jingle bells. and made a page with those. More partially done things. There's a whole joke about this one. Snowballs, diners. This was a Christmas page for 2011. So yeah, and then prompts. Okay, so this, again, 2011. All right. I am not going to be able to tell you exact dates on everything. Um, some of them I've dated, some of them I just, I go back and forth. So for instance, I'm going to show y'all some of my, what I used to call, well, I still call them my desk journals. And I would buy one of these a year, and I have probably 6, 7, I don't know. I only brought down 4. But I have a stack of these that every year I would start a new desk journal. This one was 2011. So this was a journal that would sit on my desk, and anytime there was leftover paint, collage, little bits of stuff, I would scrape it or glue it in the desk journal so nothing went to waste, right? So if I was painting something and I had leftovers, I would just take my palette knife, scrape up the paint, and throw it in a desk journal. And then maybe at some point I would go back in and play on that journal. Like here I added gold paint, and it's like just mindless nothing. It doesn't. None of this necessarily means anything, right? It's just playing in the art journal. So this one was from 2011. There's Mona Lisa, my muse, and again, I have probably 6, 7, 8 of these, and I just pulled out 4 right here, and I'm not going to be able to show you like literally every page. I'm going to try to show y'all as much as possible, but okay, I got a glare right there, and well, maybe I should move in on the smaller journals. There we go. Yeah, my desk journal. You love your desk journal, Terry? I know. So, and there's Leonardo and just different, some of these toward the front have more things finished, or look more completed. Some have started to fall out. I've glued and taped them back in. See, like right here, I might have tore something out. No telling. So again, they're, I think like ones from 11, 12, 13, 14, something like that. And it's all just mixed media collage. It's paint, acrylic paint, and I say acrylic paint, all I mean is just Americana craft paint, folk art. There's most of my paints are Americana, but I have other craft, paints, just craft paints. It's just craft paints. And the thing about keeping something like this is even if you just go back and play a little bit on there, you got the genesis of a painting that you can then go, if you so desire, and turn these into paintings. There's a peacock from our local Noah's Ark shelter. There's some turtles from the shelter. These are from 2011. I have no idea if these animals are still alive, but these are old ones. I just stuck them in there. So if y'all have any questions, put them in caps. You have that Leonardo. You have this one as a tattoo, Terry? This one? Oh my gosh. You have to show it. You need to show it. Here's some journaling ribbon, These were napkins. This is transfers, inkjet transfers. And they're really not stuck. It sounds kind of like they are, but they're jammed in a shelf, so they get a little crunchy. But I really never have any problems with it sticking. My Americana craft paints and my golden matte medium, and I'll talk about when I get more into official collages, that the products and things that I use all the same stuff. Oh, I'd like to see it, Terry. The stuff that I use, it's all the same. It's craft paint, golden matte medium, that's pretty much it. And I varnish with uh, this right here, which I don't know, some people say is being phased out. The Delta Ceramcoat Gloss Interior Exterior Varnish. I use that to varnish. So it's all the same. It's, if I don't change it if it works. Hey, Diane. How you doing? I'm so glad you got your book. Diana's book came back to me and we had to go back to her. So she finally got it. It is in your phone. Okay, I'll go look. Okay, I'll look for that, Terry. So again, this is one of my hand carved stamps. This is a photo of a tree. You can use these if you do acrylic painting or oil. I mean, if you do oil painting or any kind of painting. But I do acrylic. So, it's in your face. Okay, and then here's just a little tag here. And some stamping. Again, these are some vintage toy things. This was this was when Carrie went on a vacation and we did a page for her. Today is CBC Heather's birthday, and it's also Carrie Love's birthday. So happy birthday, Carrie, if you watch this. Here's did some copper paint background. And see, that would just be an awesome painting. And I would paint her too. It wouldn't look exactly like her, but it's your interpretation. You don't have to copy it exactly, Here's this was some brush painting with gold paint and a floppy brush, like Chinese brush painting. Here, just different things that we've done over the years. Here's some water, and you see me do this kind of stuff, splashes, and this one has the start of some planets up there. And I think I like the colors on this one. I think this would be an awesome painting in these colors. It's just finding time to do paintings anymore. Just some scraped and start. See, so if you have leftover paint, just take a card or your, palette knife and just scrape it on there, or with a brush or whatever. And then this is a base for you to go back. Painter would love to see it. And go back and add more to it. See? Like this one's got more added to it. Like I probably scraped on some blue and paint, and I go back and added a piece of a watch, and here you go. Not every art journal, idea, desk journal, or any kind of idea book has to be a completed page. They can be your ideas. So if you have hundreds of books like this, you will never run out of ideas. If someone asked earlier how, and I mentioned that most inspiration is in your butt. Sit down and do something. But, if you have all these books and you don't know what to do one day, take one off the shelf, flip through it, and I guarantee you'll think of something. You will think of something. So, yeah. So I think this is from 2011. We're only at 2011. Got a lot ready to go. Hi, Join Art. Again, I really love this one. I like the gold paint in it, and it's almost like the gold is like a mechanical and lightning, and it's outer space, and it's attached to her. So I have lots of, I have meanings to stuff. There's an old picture of Boo I stuck in there. Blank pages. Just some scrape pages, some honeycomb. There's one of my hand carved bee stamps is all over that one. I love this. I just love this. I could just sit here and stare at this. This could inspire me for a week. No kidding. The colors, the shapes, the way the paint's flowing. I could just sit here and get so many ideas just off of this. Sun glow, adore. This could be birds, just so many things. Anyway, then there's a couple pages here with nothing. These are just those lined journals. And now they're not cheap. They're real leather from Italy, and they're like $40 a journal. But I would use one a year. So, you know. Now that is something stuck. Oh, no, wait, that's glued down. I was going to say that's stuck. But it's glued down. Here's another one. I love this. Hey, Krusty Brush. Anybody else popping in? Thanks for being here. I'm doing a journal, as many of my mixed media art journals and that I can. Now, I'm saying all this, let me qualify it. I am not showing any of my sketchbooks. This is not a sketchbook tour. My drawings, my books of sketches. This is all mixed media collage stuff. Okay, and I got a few pages here at the back, and that must have been the end of the year. Have a few little tags and stuff in it. But, so I'm going to keep rolling because I run out of time. So I have two more here that are kind of full, and then this one, you can see I got about halfway. I also liked to gold or copper the edges. Now let's see, this one's been sitting on the shelf. It's a little tight. Let's see if anything, I'll loosen up those pages. But they're all different. You can get all different ones. Some of them I've deconstructed. I'm looking up two more on my shelf up there where I cut the covers off. They were getting so bulky that I cut the covers off and ringed them. So I made ring journals out of them. So I'm just going to try to, okay, let's cover up the phone number. These have some of my ATCs in them. These are some of my ATCs. And I printed them out. So, yeah, that's some of those. Again, all different kinds of ideas, backgrounds. It's stuff where you scrape off your paint and use it. It's just something that sits on your desk. That's why I call them desk journals. They sit on your desk and you add paint and collage or whatever to, whatever to it. If any of you, if you want to see anything more in depth or anything, just leave a comment in the description. I mean, you guys here can comment here, but I'm saying for future videos. This was on my list. This is my list of things that people requested that I do. And flipping through all my journals was one of them. I was just going to try to record it on the weekend, but I didn't get to it. Okay, so there's another one of those. Some of them are chunkier. Working on making stickers. Just bought this stuff. Yeah, and I know it's the way I showed how to do the stickers, hand cutting, covering it with contact paper. It's old school, You can use your Cameo and cut it out like that, or take it and get it done. But, it's just something that if people just want, you may not have all that stuff. Okay, so is this upside down? I think that's upside down. There we go. Yeah, this one's 2012. Okay, so this one is 2012. Maybe both of those were 2011. I don't know. So, a little bit of doodles. Here's some little tree sketches in there that I added to it. You love you some crunchy, Judy? So, I love these. These are some of my favorite colors, I like old world colors, So, this is one of, let's see, what did I have here? This little piece is a collage bit right there. I don't see, and this little bit right here. So, this and this little bit right here, collage, you can kind of see it shine probably. That and right there, because these have not been varnished. I don't varnish these. These are just my sketchbooks or my desk journals. My books are awesome. Oh, thank you. Hey, G, how you doing? And so based on those two little pieces of collage, I built this world off of that. Same thing for this one. There's a piece of a watch here. There's a little bit of collage here and here. And then I expanded it. I just painted out. You take whatever little piece of collage, and I'll try to talk about collage processing. If y'all have questions on collage processing as I go, put it in caps. Um, but I paint it out. So I'll start with a little something something and then build it out into a world. Like this still needs, to me, stars in there, but you know, again. This is from Christmas cards. If you have Christmas cards, birthday cards, anything like that, take your cards. Do I have one handy? And I've shown it, but it's been a while. I'm trying to, this is kind of a recap here. Let me see if I have one of those Christmas cards or a card that I can show you. It has to be like a real card. I'm trying to see if I have any real cards in here. Okay, here's an old Christmas card. I don't know if this will work, but we'll try. I don't want to get too many. Okay, so here's a Christmas card. It's an unused one. So what you do is you peel it back. So you might have to kind of get it started if you're using it in a collage or your art journal. Instead of a big, thick cardstock, you get in here and you peel, and you might need to take your time, and you peel off the front. Okay? Then you have a thin, very thin, collageable bit of, see, it's so thin. This is awesome for collage now. So if you have birthday cards, if you want to keep birthday cards, if you want to keep cards, or you just want to use pretty cards in collage, peel them off like that. I would also recommend, though, if it's like your grandmother, your parent, you know, somebody special to you, cut out their signature, keep their signature. Whether you keep the sentiment that's on the card, that to me is not the important thing. The important thing is their signature. So you can, you know, awesome collage fodder from old greeting cards. Okay, just peel it off. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, nice peel. Yeah, I lucked out on that, didn't I, Terry? Terry said, ooh, nice peel on the first try. I lucked out. Oh. So, you know, here's just a bunch of, you know, just desk journal stuff. But you could take this. You could take these and build a painting off of it. Think of this as your painting sketchbook, you know, your painting idea book, okay? Your painting idea book. Because you don't have to copy it exactly, you know? It doesn't even have to be this kind of a house. It could be whatever, you know? But if you have stuff like this, you'll never run out of ideas for a painting, a drawing, or if you just, in fact, just like to do this. It's therapeutic, to me anyway. It's therapeutic to throw paint and paper on a page. Paint and paper on a page. You save your cards and reuse them? Yeah. I do some. I don't. In the clean out, I did about, well, I do one about every 6 months to a year. And some are more than others. But I did throw away hundreds of cards. I kept, you know, a couple from Grandma, a couple from Mom, one from my sister, you know, and then peeled off the best ones that I liked, and then, you know, saved some signatures. But you know, I just cannot. I don't have don't have room for thousands of cards. And one of the reasons that I had so many, I'll keep flipping while I'm talking. One of the reasons that I had so many cards, because before scrapbook paper, before, you know, official scrapbooking paper, I would use this kind of stuff in scrapbooking. I would use the cards and things like that because we didn't have all the hundreds of thousands of scrapbook pads and things. Here's another one. This is a collage piece. There's a little piece of a stained glass window, and the rest is paint. Oh, wait, there's a little tree right there, a tiny tree. And the rest is paint. Same for this one. I've just painted some little pyramids. I had this little bit of mountain right here. Glued that mountain down, and then, you know, that's a piece of stencil, and did the pyramids right there with paint. Yeah, for Mother's Day cards, yeah, or any card, you know. And if you just have some kind of journal like this that you're going to keep, you could throw it in there if you don't want to necessarily use it for something. Here's some coral from a photograph off of a calendar or something, and then these are stencils. I forget who makes them. I don't know if they're Tim Holtz or Crafter's Workshop or whatever. But I made them like, you know, this is all painted in. But you could turn any of this stuff into something. I could anyway. I just like to, you know, I like to use my imagination. There's a little Marie Antoinette. And this is just painted in scrapbook paper, you know. And another thing, I did not pull out my old notebooks, my 3-ring binders of color combinations. I didn't pull out my 3-ring binders of color combinations and my design seeds notebooks or any of that, because there's just not going to be time. I'm barely going to have time to do this. But in there I talk about, if you take like this right here, okay, there was a little bit of red somewhere in there, so I took these colors and built all these colors off of that, the scrapbook paper, and I just, so you can use bits of whatever your image is and use that for your color inspiration. You know, I get it all the time. I don't know what colors. I don't know what kind of combinations. Pick you an image that you are really attracted to. What is it you like about it? Is it the blue gray? Is it the gray and the red? And you know, what is it about it? And that's great practice too. Whether you use acrylic paint, your you know, Crayola markers, your color pencils, whatever medium you use, you can use color combinations just based on one image, right? Here's just another, you know, bit more collage-y things. Some stencils, like if you use your stencils, if you, especially if you use your Dylusion sprays or any kind of sprays on your stencils, and they're all coated with ink, that's a lot of good ink right there. Open your desk journal, smack that stencil down, and get that ink off. And you know, don't waste it. Throw it in a journal. What glue do you mostly use to glue down your fodder? In something like this, I like my Aleene's Tacky Glue. And if you're, you know, but if you just don't have anything handy, and you just, you know, if you just have your glue stick, and I recommend a Yoo-Hoo, but you can use whatever glue stick you know is really working. I don't like to glue things down with glue sticks, and even if I use a sticker, I will add glue to a sticker. I add glue to washi tape. I add glue. I don't trust the manufacturer's sticky stuff, you know, to last. So if I really want it to last, I'll use this. Now, that being said, in my mixed media books where I'm doing full-on collages, which I'm going to get to those in a minute, and my altered books, like my Abandoned Places, Abandoned Castles, all those, I use only golden matte medium. Okay? Sorry for the garage door opening. Golden matte medium. And I put it on the base. I put it on the back of the collage piece, stick it down, put matte medium over the top, and then I take a card and smash everything down. Okay? Now, I have been known to just flip through the book and I have a bunch of collage stuff. I will quickly tack something down with a glue stick. But I won't like glue it down. I'll like save it for later. So if I'm going through one of my big journals like these, or my altered my altered abandoned books or anything like that, and I have a bunch of stuff I want to just glue down. I'm in the mood to glue. If you're in the mood to glue. Yes, that's my garage door. Hubster's coming in the garage door. My studio is above the garage. So anytime he opens or closes the garage, the door, automatic, door, it's loud. So I'll just take some, like, just go like that and just put a little tack of glue on there and stick it down just so it's just there. It's just stuck where I want it temporarily. I'm not really gluing it down. I just put enough glue on it just to kind of hold it in place. So yeah, drew a little cat there. Again, color. I love the gray, the faded ochre, the black and the white. This is napkins here. Stencil, leftover stencil. So I just love the colors in her boot legging things. That's white, pink and white stripes with gold in it. So I kind of used a napkin and just made a color combination page. So all this doesn't have to be something right away. It's ideas for later processes. Here's just some, probably some Smack and Dragon, where we spray the inks on a craft mat and you smack and you drag. That's what I call Smack and Dragon. You've seen Tim Holtz do it with his tags. He doesn't call it Smack and Dragon, but it's, you have inks on a non-porous surface and you take your you take a tag or whatever and you smack and you drag it through the ink. Well, it's the same thing, just in a big journal. Here's a few pages of that. Some starts of some collage ideas. Here's something on We the People. Here's some stencil bits. So again, you just leave one of these journals sitting on your desk and scrape your paint or just glue down some leftover collage bits and then go back and play when you feel like it. There's my whirling dervishes. I like this one. I like the colors. Hubster calls me a whirling dervish, so I found the whirling dervishes in a Nat Geo or something, and so I glued that in here because that's what he calls me. See, look, just some pieces. Here's some pieces of collage just glued down haven't painted them in yet. So, am I still here, guys? We good? Let me just do a chat test there, just so I see it moving. Okay. So I'm trying to kind of flip through this kind of hurriedly because I got a lot of stuff to go through. I love the colors in this, the teal and the yellow and the white. So there's a whole color combination right there. Whether I ever paint boots and flowers, it's the colors. It's the colors that made me glue that in. Same for this. It's the colors. And there's some space in between. And also I tell y'all, work front to back, because you can see, look how warped the spine is. Even though I did work front to back to front, it's still warped. But I don't really care about that in this case. But you do want to note that if you want your books, of course this got chunky anyway. If you don't want your spine to warp, you need to work some in the front, some in the back, some in the front, some in the back, some in the middle, some in the front, so that your spine stays flat. So this is what's left over from this book, because then I went to the back. Because this is no dated, there's no dated anything in this. Because I could just as easily pick up a brush right now or pick up something and scrape some paint in this now. So if I had a date on this, 2012, I did date the beginning of it, 2012. But if I put an exact date on this and came back 3 years later and scraped some paint on it, well, it's no longer just 2012. You know what I mean, Vern? Due to your mind's oh, Kenny, thank you. It's just, people say they don't have imagination, but I have found, I'm serious, guys, I have found that most of the time people that say that just don't do it. They don't sit down and try. They think in their head they don't have the imagination. So they've just like stopped themselves right at the get-go. Oh, I don't have an imagination. So therefore, I'm not even going to try. Your imagination develops the more you use it, the more techniques. And granted, you have to learn certain techniques. I'm not saying you're going to pick up, oh, I got a vision of the Sistine Chapel in my head, therefore I can do it. No, there are skill sets that you have to learn. The drawing, or what kind of mediums to use, what kind. That's why I tell y'all everything. I show y'all everything. I tell you everything I'm using, every tool, every glue, I tell y'all everything I'm using, so to help you get the best results, right? But you got to try, and you got to not be afraid. Like, why is this fish here? Well, I don't know. Is it anything? No. But, hey, I glued a fish. you know. Oh, good, Pacola. And so that's another reason why I started the Society of Idea Collectors. I was showing you books and notebooks full of ideas and combinations and color techniques and what to combine with this, how to mind map. All of it plays into your imagination and your vision. If you have a vision to do something, you gotta just start. You gotta start. Scrape some paint, glue some images down, throw some stencils, throw some ink. And this is one of my all-time favorite pages. I don't know that I'll ever, I say that every time I flip to this one. I love this double page spread. I don't know why. I think it's the colors. I love like Renaissance colors like yellow ochre, Payne's gray, ochres, earth tones with, blues and dark blues and grays. I love that. So I'm thinking that most of this, other than the texture effect, I love the colors. And this is just a suit jacket. I don't know. So just a little of everything. Some have more blended, some have more, idea developed. But I could just take this and just these colors, do a painting of this, throw some stars and planets up there. This could be a raging river. I mean, I don't lack for ideas because I do a lot of stuff. The more you do, the more, well, they're jewel tones, but they're muted jewel tones, I would say. Muted jewel tones, because they're not the bright ones. Oh, Cam, hang on. I messaged Cam earlier and asked how his weekend was. I got to answer him back. Hang on. Sorry, guys, I have to. Okay. I'll just leave it here for a minute, see if he says anything else. So, you just got to do a lot of stuff. If you want a lot of imagination, glue a lot of stuff down. Just glue a lot of stuff down. Okay. Like this little bird here, I put him sideways with his little beak going into a little teacup. Someone's holding a little teacup, I love this page too. It's the colors. And see, I like these are nice bright colors. I like that too. Here's some more. I put some glasses on a bird. I like these colors. I like color combinations. I think he's done talking. And then this one, her outfit reminded me of a column. So I just like the juxtaposition of the, it's like she's like a warrior princess and it's like a column. And it just went, you know. This kind of reminded me, it's a flower, but it looks like a bee. Here's another bee. So and this one, I've talked about this one before. Another cool accident that happens in collage sometimes. You tear something out of a magazine and something shows from the back. That happened with this. I tore a face out to use, and the face behind it, this happened. So I had to cut them both out and use them on this page. That was a happy accident. I just love that. And then this one I call ponytails. I love her ponytails, like a horse tail. So yeah. So you get the idea on my desk journals. This one was pretty chunky. And again, I don't know, I got 3 or 4 more up on the shelf. Here's one more that, let's see when this one was. Let's see. I don't know when this one was. I used some Disney cartoon thing. Here's some, I think we're trying to figure out we're doing something with journaling lines or something. Some manga, some different words and quotes and expression. Okay, this one was from '08. Okay, so this book is from '08. Okay, so I got a lot of what do you call it? What's her name that does these not the Zentangle, but the, what's her name? Y'all help me out. Does the funky lines? Just did funky lines and writing like this. She does the Zetiology. The Zetiology lady. I think I did a whole book of Zetiology lines. I think I literally did a whole book. I don't know. So there's some Hello Kitty, more lines. Bingo. More lines. I think I just, I did a whole half a book anyway of all kinds of lines and journaling places. Tisha Moore, thank you. This must have been my Tisha Moore influence in 2008. So this one was from 10 years ago. Okay, so that's enough of those. So you get the idea on those. Then, after I think it's in between one of the years, because I still did more of those type of journals. Let's brighten this up a little. I did more of those type of journals, the leather ones, for a while. But somewhere in between, I made my own desk journal. So what I did with this desk journal, this is a rubber band one, and you can see I'm not gone all the way through, but all this is 11 by 17 folded in half. It's copy paper. It's copy paper folded in half and made into a journal with the rubber bands. Rubber band journal. Okay, it's the same type of thing as the desk journal. Oh wait, that fell out of one of my journals there. Did it? No, it's too big, so it must just be on the stack. And so it's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing, just more of it, just bigger. So it's scraping paint. It was Dee before stream. Well, I don't know about that, because, I mean, these are kind of old, too. Let's see here. But you can see it's a lot of the same type of thing. So I won't go through every page, but it's essentially the same thing as my just a big, another version of a desk journal. If you want to see more of any of this, I'll be glad to flip through every single page. I'm just, that was my intention today. But then Pacola and, she goes, "Did you bring out your magazine journals?" I went, "Oh, I forgot about the magazine journals." How do you get the book so square? This book? All right, this is chipboard. This is chipboard. This is a piece of chipboard and duct tape. It's chipboard, 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 duct tape over the spine to hold it together. And then I just have a piece of washi tape glued over the duct tape because the duct tape was ugly, just white duct tape. So I glued, I don't just trust washi tape to stay. But it's held together, the actual journal itself is held together with duct tape. And then rubber bands are making the signatures. You would like a flip through. I mean, I can try to do some. This is a big one. This is a big one. But I can take time to do individual flips. Yes, I cut the chipboard. I use an X-Acto knife or a wallpaper cutting knife and a metal ruler, but you got to be very careful when you do that. Be careful when you use your X-Acto knife don't use a plastic ruler. Use a metal ruler if you're going to slice through chipboard, And if it's not too heavy, this was heavy enough I would have had to cut it. But I have two of these guillotine type. I have two of these that I use for thinner chipboard. Okay, so this is all this. It's all the same type of thing. There's all kinds of scrapes and painting and just different things on different signatures. But anyway, so that is the same type of thing. It's like my desk journal. Okay. And again, I'm not going through some of my color combination 3-ring binders because I'm going to run out of time. Okay, then I have a stack. I only pulled one. I have stacks of composition notebooks. This one is one that I started doing patterns. Now this is not my whole. This is one of my drawings of. Who's this a drawing of? Hang on, my mind just slipped. Oh, scientist. Anyway, this is one of my drawings of him. It was a big 11 by 14 drawing, and this is just a copy of it. Let me get the book get it unstuck. So I took a copy of that and put that in there. And then this is one of the ones where I did patterns. So this is from 2007. So these are some of my composition books where I did books on patterns. For instance, kimonos. If I would see a kimono, and this is before Google, okay, for me anyway. I don't remember when Google, when did Google really become Google? I mean, as far as like, oh, I'm going to go Google that. Anyway, I would find them online still, but you had to do a little bit more just searching them out. Hey, Kmore, if you're still around after my recording, I'll have to show you. I showed one of Boo's 3-year-old cheer videos. I can't show it on here, but I'll show it after. So this is from 2007. So these, Pascal, that's who it is, Blaise Pascal, because I have a quote right here. We know the truth not only by reason, but also by the heart. He lived from 1623 to 1662, and that's who this is a drawing of. But again, it was bigger. This is just like a printed off copy. It's not even really that dark. But anyway, okay. Okay, well, yeah. And so these are kimono patterns that I've hand drawn big, right? So the kimono might have had a little pattern like this big, and I used the kimonos for inspiration. And they're not necessarily full-on paintings. They're ideas. Here's some more quotes. Another Pascal. Yeah. Okay, let's see what this quote is. And look how I wrote these all spaced out. I went through a phase where I was writing like spaced out. I mean like spaces in between the letters. I write small. This is how small I write anyway, but I like spaced out the letters to make the quotes look kind of cool, right? Clarity of mind. That's harder to read though too. Clarity of mind means clarity of passion. Clarity of passion too. This is why a great and clear mind loves ardently and sees distinctly what it loves. See, it's hard to read, but it looks cool. Stretched out. Yeah, stretched out. Here's another one. There you go. Again, like little, and see, look, here's different patterns that I got ideas from, printed them off, and got some ideas. And then, I don't know what this is. This is just thrown in there randomly. Here's a couple more. It's got all kinds of things in here. It's got patterns. It's got, here's more based off the kimonos. The kids drew in here. These are old. This is whichever kid was drawing at the time in 2007. It had to be Cam. So there's one of Cam's drawings in 2007. Then let's see, I got more in here. Here's some more kimono stuff. Let's see here. Here's where I was doing those. I was going to say I was showing you, but I've shown y'all this before, but this was before I started streaming. This is 2000 and, what did I say, 7, 8? 2000, what year was this? Did I say 7 or 8? 7. So this is from 2007. How to do those little flowers with a fan brush, where you dip your fan brush half in one color, half in another color. You press down and you go and twist, and you can make these flowers with a fan brush. What else do I have in here? Different kimono type things, idea lists, inspiration. So anyway, I have stacks of composition books that and just punched holes in it and put ties through. And but I'm only going to show you one now because we're going to run out of time. So you know, you can do this. You can make glue books. You could do the fluffettes. You know, my big. Let me see if I can get it down here. This is my book of all the fibs back when were able to collect fibs. This is Fluffette. She sits up on my shelf. This is my fluffiest composition book I have. It is, there's a tab and art and chat about all the fibs at the time. This is the second. I have 2 of these. One's not as big, but and when I collected emails and all kinds of things from you guys back when I first started streaming, and I named her Fluffette because she's not as fluffy as one of Bryn's books. Hers is fluffy, and I call Bryn Fluffy, and this is why. So this is Fluffette. So this is just a composition book. It's nothing fancy. I do not glue any pages together. It's single pages. Did you reinforce each page? No, I do not reinforce anything. I do not gesso unless, the only time I gesso is either for a texture, just to give a page texture, or if I white something out. And when I say, I don't necessarily use gesso. I'll use white paint, black paint. I'll just use acrylic paint to like blank out text or something in an altered book. But you could officially use gesso to do that. But no, I do not reinforce anything. This is single pages. They're all single page. Now, granted, this one's a little messy. I mean, it's a little banged up, but it's old. This one is probably 7 years old, maybe 7 years old. Composition books hold up remarkably well. So anyway, that's what this is. This is my composition. This is the fluffiest book I own. And it sits up on a top shelf up there more for decoration. Okay, then let's quickly, oh, here, let me show these real quick. The same thing for a desk journal. These are mini desk journals. These are mini composition books. Let me get a sip of coffee here. And I usually find these at Walmart at the beginning of school years. And these do not hold up that well. Just saying. These are not, for whatever reason, they're not made the same as the big composition books. So pages have fallen out of here. So what I do is I just tape them back in. Yeah, that was Fluffette. So I pulled two of these to show you. And again, you know, I got lots of things like this. But if you just don't want to do a big desk journal, do a tiny desk journal. It doesn't have to be in a composition book. It can be a Moleskine. It can be in anything, right? The idea is to do it. So again, this is the same kind of thing. Gluing in bits of collage, scraping paint, and then some of these I have gone back on stream and stuff and worked in them. So you can see they're just like little mini collages. They're like little mini, and see, like, look, see how that's not, I should put a piece of tape there. And some, you'll see pieces of tape sometimes where I've taped them back in. So again, all kinds of little ideas. And I have taken a couple of these. I don't know if it's been out of these mini ones. I think it has. And turn them into digi cards. Like these are my like digi backgrounds. Like, you know, you can make them birthday cards. You can do anything. You can do anything digital nowadays. You know, if you have an iPad, throw it in Procreate and play with it and fluff it and stretch it and blend it and bleed it and stamp it, pattern it, throw in. You can do a lot with. I mean, and I like doing that occasionally, playing in Procreate, but I love the real. I love the real paint, the real drawing, the tactileness of it. You know. I mean, I have some ideas that I have in my head. If I knew how to do digi really well, I could whip out some really cool worlds. But it takes time to learn that. So in the meantime, I paint my worlds. You know? In the meantime, I paint my worlds with real paint, like this. So, hey, Packer Die, I see you. KB, thank you. You like flipping through the pages? Thanks. Thank you. So you can just do little mini ones if you want. But I wanted to try to get this. I didn't get to record over the weekend. I thought about just recording without anybody, you know, without anybody here, without any chatting, just recording all my journals, mixed media. And again, I'm not even including my sketchbooks. This is just all my mixed media collage stuff. Girl with the pearl earring, I threw her in there. Some maps. Coca-Cola bottle. Yeah. Little scene there. And again, let's see what part. Right here. This right here is the collage bit. And the rest I just painted in. Just extend it and paint it. Oh, a little rock. That's a collage bit right there. The rest is all paint. Just make your own little worlds. Make those little worlds. And again, you can use this for inspiration for other paintings. Like, I love this cacti. You know, this would be a beautiful painting, I think. Do I have time to paint it? No. But I have all the ideas when I want to. I mean, like I said, I've done a few. Here's just some collage. Here's just some things I found. I just glued it down, right? Here's where I had to tape some pages together because they were falling out. So here's just some stuff where I've just stuck it in there, and here's what some places with no paint. And then here's one with paint. So you can use, just look, little pieces of stuff. You can base it on color, and then go in there and play with paint over, use your whatever it is that you cut out as your color inspiration. You like every page of this little book, Kenny? Oh, thanks. So you see, here's one where I blended in a collage, and here's one where it's just there without being blended in. And I'm not sure what dates these are. Do I date these? But they're, this is just something that you can do small and not, I don't know. I don't really overthink anything, but yeah, you can use color inspiration. Like this statue and this flower, that inspired me to do all these colors. Those are the colors that I went with. And again, just some tape where they started to fall out. This one, here's my Mona there. Some tissue paper. A little bit of collage on that one. And my art cards are all the same type of thing. Little pieces of collage, and then turned into, y'all have seen my art cards that I give away. It's the same process. It's all the same. It's all the same process. I mean, as far as like glue, paint, all that. I don't varnish these. That's the difference. My art cards and my altered journal page, they'll get varnished eventually. These don't get varnished. They won't look as good enlarged as they do shrunk down, because when you enlarge something, it undetails. I don't know what you want to say. Shrinking things down from something larger is better than taking something small and trying to make it big. But if you wanted to do a painting from something like this, and you just want something, a reference, if you want a reference to enlarge something, like let's say I wanted to do an 8x10 or something like that painting of this, you could take a picture of it and print out something bigger to use, to go by, instead of trying to look at something this small. But yeah. Wood looking for. Yeah, so if you just want to use it as an example for your paintings, like some of the ones I showed at the beginning of the show, a couple of paintings based off some collage. I showed a couple of those at the beginning. This one I purposely folded to make it look like a little collar, and coming off of this little cave. So that's actual folded, torn and folded paper right there. So yeah. Small compass. Yeah, I guess you could use something like this for Inktober. When I do Inktober, I want to ink. I just like a bigger page. At least something like this big. Then this is just, I did the little checkerboard with the Sharpie pen. This same here, that's all hand painted or hand drawn, whatever. And then, see, there's just some places where there's just little bits glued in that I haven't done anything with. And I'm going to show y'all some bigger ones like this in my art journals. In my, who makes these again? Who makes these? These books? Oh, I'll have to dig out. I have the cover in the pocket. Anyway, a lot of starts are like this. Yeah, you can put quotes. Yeah, you just wrote, "I paint my worlds." This is how I do favorite quote section. Yeah, see, here's some Leonardo's from his sketchbook. I have books about Leonardo that I use for collage. This is some of his well, I put it in upside down, it's backwards writing. Just little pieces of things, and then here's more. Taking it to the next step. No, it's not. No, that's not who makes those books. Not Diane. Is it Dina Wakely? No, Diane Reevely. Oh, anyway, I'll get it. I'll get the cover out. I have it in one of the pockets. So these are like my mini ones, and you can see they're only like maybe 3 by 4, something like that. Oh, here it is. 4.5 by 3.25. Little mini composition book. Same process as my bigger desk journals. It's inspiration? Good, I hope so, because I got a lot of mess to clean up when I'm done. Okay. Before I go into... Uh-oh. Come back here, journals are stacked up and falling. Okay, so then... Let me just do I don't have time to go through all my magazine journals. If you want to see more about the magazine journals, including the mini magazine idea mapping, I forget what we call it, MMICP. This is 2 magazines cut in half and all glued together. So it's 4 thicknesses of magazines in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 magazines cut in half. Diane Reevely, Dilutions. Thank you, Dilutions journal. Think of the name of it. Anyway, I got 4 or 5 of those over here. Okay, so anyway, what it is you take a magazine, this one here, and I've done flips of this more recently. If y'all want to see more of the magazine journals, I'll have to do a separate flip. But Picola reminded me, you're bringing out your journals and you forgot your magazine journals. And I did. I totally forgot about my magazine journals. This is just one that I cut down and made into a mini. But all these are, this is 4 magazines glued together. This one is 3 magazines glued together. This one is 3 magazines glued together. And this one is 4 magazines glued together. I will just go through, I'll just pick one. I'm not going to have time to do everything, guys, seriously. I thought I could maybe make a separate part for that. Same thing for any sketchbook, do separate ones. Okay, so they are magazines glued together and covered with scrapbook paper. This one happened to be a glossy scrapbook paper already, but they are duct tape or either duct tape or packing tape. This one might be packing tape, and then I glued washi tape over the packing tape to make it look a little prettier. Okay, well, I'm going to show one, Diane. I'll show one. And so what you do is, these are different Stampington publications. I do not use my Somerset Studios or the ones called Art Journal. I don't use those. These are ones that are, well, there may be an Art Journal one in here, but they're the Blogger, they're the Somerset Life. There's like 25 different magazines they have that have all kinds of, and you don't have to use an art magazine. You can use gardening magazines. You could use fashion magazines, but I will warn you, fashion magazines are the thinnest of all magazines. They're the cheapest and they're the thickest, but they're also the wrinkliest. Okay, just so you know. I have found though that by the time I I glue things or paint things, that it's pretty, look, it's pretty flat. Even though my spine in this case is warped, and that's why I always say go front to back to front, maybe work in the middle, back to front, so that your spine doesn't do this. Because if you just go front to back, the more front to back, the more their spine's going to do that. Okay? Um, so these are, I have those 4 or 5 that I pulled off the shelf. And again, I started with a table of contents here, started writing my own numbers. I never did fill it out. But what I want to show you, the benefit about doing something like a magazine journal. I'm trying to find a good sample here. Okay, this is a good one. Is you take something off the page and use that for your inspiration, your color inspiration. Now this is all scruffy, scrappy, scruffy, inky, and I'm not even, yeah, here's one. See all this right here? This is all distress ink. This is where I've just taken my distress ink pads and just scruffed it right over the top. Yeah, gardening magazine, and that's the same thing for your altered books. I really don't do any more magazines since I moved on to doing altered books. I mean, I've done altered books over the years. I got some old ones up there. But I don't have time to do magazine journals anymore since I've gone into doing the altered books. You know, more of those. My abandoned altered books. So anyway, but it's the same kind of thing. So you take, when I say I white out, that could mean green, it could mean purple, it could be whatever. Getting rid of text, painting out text. And again, everything I'm using is just craft paint. And the reason you want to, one of the reasons you want to use craft paint as opposed to the nicer artist grade paints, they have shiny binders in them that will make your pages stick. I can't speak for every single artist grade paint, whether it'll make your pages stick. And I know there's different techniques. You can wax them, you can baby powder them, you can keep wax paper in between them. There's all kinds of things you can do to prevent those pages from sticking. For me, it's just easier to use craft paint, so I use craft paint. And I use craft paint in my art, in my, all the journals you're seeing me use. I am using craft paint. Okay, so what I was going to say is it's a great way to practice. Using a magazine journal is a great way to practice matching color, blending color, testing colors, you know, looking at the colors and what you want to keep, and just, you know, it's all play. It's all play. So here's just a couple pieces of scrapbook paper. I haven't even blended that in. But it's a form of reverse collage. Oh, and that reminds me, I got to show the one other book too. So anyway, you can see you can scrape, you can do the same thing in your magazine journal that you did in your little composition books. The benefit of using a magazine or a book is you've got something to work with already. You're not starting with a full-on blank page. You're starting with something already there. So you've got something already here to, you know, to start with. You're not starting with a complete blank page. Does that make sense? Know what I mean, Vern? And you can go from here. See, right here I just got rid of all the text. Now I could go in here and scrape on red and black and blend all this in with red and black. And it's tempting to want to do it right now, but I'm going to resist the temptation because I'll run out of time. This is actually a piece of a stencil. The stencil I used here got crusty, so I glued the stencil down. Where's Paula? So again, it's very distressed, Very, now this one's more smooth. I haven't like put any distressing on this one. Here's one where it's distressed. You can scribble, you can do whatever. So magazine journals are great ways to test techniques, colors, blending. And then if you want to end up making them into writing journals, this one I think came loose, or I tore something out, so I just taped it back in. So, magazine journals, of which I just, showed you I had a stack of. And then the mini magazine, which this is the most recent one. We did this, what, a year or two ago? A couple years ago? When did we start this one? I don't know. 2017. So this was last year. And it's the same kind of thing. It's just, you got half pages of magazines. And then we painted in things. Some we just, scraped in. Some we wrote in. Here's the meeting of the beards. We did that irises. But you have something to work with. And see, here's where I've whited out, literally with white paint. And these are 4 halves glued together. And then just play. It's a playground. That's what we called it. The mixed media mini magazine playground. I forget. It was MMICP. Here's where we did a little brush lettering. We just picked this up and did this a couple weeks ago, I think. That brush lettering. You can practice your brush lettering. Here's the enablers. This is Eileen, Janet, and Terry, I think. The enablers. Bye, bye, bye. And a little dog going, no. So, you just play, do lettering, painting, just whatever. This is all, and I did all this with my hands. I'm pretty sure we did this is all finger painting. There's one of my hand-carved stamps, gargoyle. Here's where we did some more practicing of well, bless your heart. Some more practicing of brush lettering. Last year is when we started this one, yeah. Chill, and again, this is all with finger paint, just picking up blobs of paint. Add a little bit more. That's a little post-it note kitty. Some ink stuff, painted, scraped paint, stamping with the bottle lid, the top of a jar, stenciling, that's stamping, scraping more paint, scraping more paint. Here's the hard cover. So that's the cover, right? There's 2 covers glued together right there. There's some thumbprint ladybugs, Zetiology type stuff. Mermaid. More outer space. And then based on the little girl's colors in her hat there is what we use. So you just gotta play. We've done more in here than I thought we had. Using the colors, like this had teal and pink. So we used teal and pink, and then I just used a gel pen and did the little patterns in the background. That's just with a gel pen or a Posca, I don't remember. It could have been a Posca, could have been a gel pen. The little triangles, like made it a pattern wallpaper in the background, so you can doodle. It's just very relaxing, therapeutic to have something like this on the going on, right? Just to have something like this going on, whether it's a magazine journal, the little mini comp books, the nice leather ones, whatever. There's Glinda. We glue Glinda in there. That was a sticker, I think. These were what do you call it? Wizard of Oz stickers. And we remember we always want to ask the questions. Even if you don't write them out, at least be asking them so that you get more ideas from that. And yeah. So that is the mini magazine. This is just a full-size one with 3 glued together. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you get lots of ideas there. Okay, next, I'm going to flip over real quick before we get into collage and altered books. Again, I'm going to talk about the napkin journal. I'm telling you, I'm not lying, guys, when I say I have floor-to-ceiling shelves of art journals. So this is the napkin journal, and I do have a few napkins in here for use next time we work in it. I got a few picked out, a map one, a butterfly one. I think Terry sent me one of these. So anyway, the napkin journal. This originally, now the spines come off because I haven't been careful with it, but I just need to glue that back and tape it with packing tape. And it's good. I just haven't done it yet. Because here's what I do that I shouldn't do. I take wads of napkin and I shove it in the book, and it broke the spine, essentially, is what happened by shoving too many napkins in here. Now, I did get rid of most of my napkins. I did find another, should I dare say, I found another drawer of napkins, another plastic drawer, not a big, a plastic drawer of napkins. So my sister sent this to me in 2009. It was this Poetry of Nature. It was a day planner thing. Now, let me get it uncrunched here. And the pages, see, here's more cut napkins. The pages essentially look like this. They're cream color, shiny. They have the dates and, Thanksgiving coming, or whatever, Then they have little quotes with a little butterfly, and they have this on every page, right? I totally ignore this. Yay, the napkin journal. And I took off the date here, which was 2009, just because it was distracting to me to see 2009 on there. But anyway, so she sent me this journal, this planner type thing, and not knowing I do not plan, not since back in whenever it was I did that 12 by 12 planner, my personal life book before life book, the big Mama Jamba 12 by 12 one that drove me crazy for a year. That was way before I started streaming too. Anyway, so I don't do planners. Yeah, Terry, I won't. So this is what all the pages look like, shiny and, Well, anyway, so this is what I use for my napkin journal. And a napkin journal is essentially a napkin that you have peeled off. You've peeled off the back white piece. You peel that off. And so then you have nice thin, hey Hubster, what's up? I hear Robert out there mowing. What's up?
I'll walk back a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Give him some cash.
Okay, thank you. Okay, see you later. Okay. Is my coffee, if my coffee's turned off, will you turn it back on?
Much pressure.
You might, well, how long has it been? Yeah, it should be okay, as long as it's just on. Whether I get down there and get some, I don't know, but, all right. And so they're not thin. There's the backing is off of them. And they just make awesome collage, decoupage, whatever you want to call it, glue downs to use. Now, there are a few drawbacks to using the napkin journal. One of the drawbacks is it's textured. So even though this is all glued down with matte medium, it's glued down well, it is still rough. I probably won't be able to see the texture. Sorry guys, got the guy mowing my yard. So it just is what it is. It's rough. So you really can't journal on a napkin. I mean, you can, but it's going to be scriggly. You're writing over texture. There goes Hubster. It's live, people. People come and go here. And so this is all one napkin. I haven't done anything to it yet. So what I decided to do with the napkin journal is use napkins as my base and use color book cutouts as a focal image. Okay, So these are out of a color book, and then I suggest, hang on, my studio's right over the garage. I suggest that you color and cut them out separately. Don't cut your pages out, glue them down, and then try to color, because you're going over a textured napkin. So if you start coloring with color pencil on here on top of a rough surface, you're more than likely, especially if it's a big face or something, you're going to pick up the texture of the napkin through the color book page, depending on the thickness of the color book page, obviously. But you don't want to pick up the texture of the napkin with your color book image. So color them separately and cut them out, then glue them on top of the napkin, and then paint them in. Okay? So I'm going to go through this. So this is the same thing. And a lot of my, not this, but these are the Juliet Crane. I like using my Juliet Crane animals and the Big Monster. These are the two books I use the most in my napkin journal, but not exclusive. Like this bird is not out of here. It's out of a different color book. But I like these Juliet Crane. This is Whimsical Animals. 30 original drawings to color and make your own. So she wants you to cut them out and use them. And so these are the ones that I use. These are the ones that I use in my napkin journal. So you can see them here. And you're going to see a lot of them. Thanks, Kenny. So, although I do use other color books too. So I color them, cut them out, and then glue them on top. This is napkin here. Okay, the background is napkin. And then I paint it in. So all these antlers and the branches, that's all painted in. Okay, it extends off of some of her monster thing. Okay, so I'll just do a flip through this. These are this is napkin. All this background's napkin. She's out of a different color book, and I put stickles on her and on one of the seahorses. Let's see if I can get it to glitter for you. So there's stickles on there to make it glitter. Okay. And then this is all paint. Painted in, splatters, drips, blended. Yeah, they're really fun to do. Haven't worked in the napkin journal in a while. We probably need to get back to it. Here's just a start. I just glued the napkins down. But you can just use a piece of one or cut them up and use one up here, two over here. You can overlap them, you know. Okay, so here's another one of her little creatures. And I don't know if they're out of the same book or the two different books. Her girls and one of her creatures. And so again, all the irises in the back, that's a napkin. Napkin, napkin, napkin. Then these are colored and cut out and then painted in. This is pencil, color pencil, the white kind of a static electricity. His whiskers are painted in with a Posca pen probably. Wispy hairs, that's all done with color pencil or paint. Splatters, so you can kind of see how fun. Yeah, they are cool, aren't they? They're fun to do. Let me do a test in my chat. Just keep my chat rolling there. Let me check my time. How are we doing on time? We're good. Okay. I'm trying to get in as many of my journals in this segment as possible. Okay, and sometimes they sound like they're sticking, but I have found that they're, because I'm using Golden Matte Medium. Let me show you the bottle here. This is what it looks like. They come in different size bottles too, but I want you to see what it says. It's Golden Matte Medium. It's not gel medium. Gel medium is very thick. This is very liquidy. And what I do is I pour it in dish soap bottles, and then it's easily pour, you just squeeze out what you want. But that's what it is, Golden Matte Medium. Very liquidy. I do not use Mod Podge. I found Mod Podge sticks things together. So anyway, I said that to say that sometimes it sounds like these are sticking, but what it's doing, it's the texture of the napkins. The texture of the napkins is making it sound like they're sticking, but I really have never had any stickage problems with Golden Matte Medium. So you can use color. You can use color pencil. Yeah, you can use it on the napkin too. It's it's not going to show up that much because this is texture. Remember, this is texture. But every place that you paint, remember I've shown y'all many demos on acrylic paint and my Prismacolors on top of acrylic paint, and that's what I do in my color books. And speaking of color books, I do want to do one of these videos where I'm going to record all my color book that I've colored in. That doesn't mean I'm going to show you every color book, because there's color books, most color books I've colored at least one page in. But I'll show you everything I've colored in every book. And again, that'll be a full, probably more than one part. I'm trying to squeeze this segment in 2 hours and 45 minutes, just under 3 hours. I'm trying to squeeze all this in. But even if I have to make another part, might have to make part 2 for 1 more hour, but we'll see. But the color book, showing you all my color books, that's going to take a while because I have to flip. I have to flip. Even if I tag each page, it's still, you got to do a lot of flipping. Here I'm just going page, pretty much page by page. So this is just all napkin. So you can see I've just glued some down. They're ready to go. They're ready to have color book images glued on here and then painted in. But this is how they start. This was already here. This is the every season. See, here's spring. They had 4 pages like this in this book. Every season has a double page spread, which, I just left that. More napkins. So you can see there's tons of different kind of napkins. People ask where you can get them. You can get them at Tuesday Morning. You can get them at Hallmark. You can get them at Walmart. Any place that sells party supplies, wedding supplies, birthday, party supplies. Hobby Lobby has a whole party section. But the cheapest that you can probably get them, and the most different kinds, I've found you get them at Tuesday Morning. Okay, so here's another one. So the background here, these flowers, these are the napkins. This is one of the Juliet Crane animals, one of the Juliet Crane girls, colored and cut out separately and then glued on, and then paint. This is all painted in. All this is acrylic paint. Then I painted in the branches with a brush. Painted in him some little, this looks like, don't know those black, I know it looks like a shower cap or the pool caps, but have you seen those balls that are all squishy and scrunchy, those plastic balls that have all these like plastic spikes on them? That's what this reminds me of. So, okay, so she's out of one of the fairy books, one of the, I have different fairies and mermaids. All right, so this has 2 different napkins. This napkin here with the gate, the raven, the mouse, and the moon, and another napkin that had all these pumpkins on it. Well, you can tear them up, you can move them around. So I used a couple different napkins there. And then what I did is I cut one of those little pumpkins to make it look like she was holding one. We did this one on a Halloween. And then this is all paint. This is all like with the baby wipe, blended into your hand in the baby wipe and made into a mist. And then stickles on the moon, and stickles in the eyes of the pumpkins. So you can see the stickles glowing a little bit on her dress and in her wings. So that's all stickles. And stickles, there's all different kind of colors, but essentially they're, they come in different colors, different sizes. This is, it's essentially glitter glue with a fine tip point. This one's the fatter one because this is the bigger jar. But yeah, that's all that is the glitter. Okay, it's another one. All the background here, those blue flowers, all the hydrangeas, they're all napkin. Painted her blue to match the hydrangeas, and then added extra antlers to her head, branches coming off. And then this butterfly is a different napkin. So separate napkins. Bye, Robin. Thanks everybody for being here. This is a bee napkin. Terry sent me the bee napkins, and then poppy napkins. So this is two different napkins. The big poppy in her is a separate color book. So that's a color book page, and then this is all napkins and then all painted in. The bees are napkins, and then I added glitter to the bees, glitter to her wings. I say glitter, I mean Stickles glitter. And then on his little head and his wings, you can see the glitter. And then she's colored with, paint and color pencil. Just another napkin. So here, let me show you here, like, where's the one? Okay, so these napkins, this is what this page started as. See this? This napkin here? That's what this is behind them. So you go from this to that. Hey, Button, anybody else popping in? And here comes the sun. I'll probably have to readjust my lighting here. And then here's the summer double page that came in the book. More napkins. So you can see, let me block that. It's got really, really bright. Let me just block it a little bit anyway. Get some of the glare off maybe. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay, this one's another one I think we did on Halloween or fall, and this one I used cutouts from my Cameo, Silhouette Cameo, the leaves, all these, the cups here, that's all cutouts, and then of course the little owl, and then painted it in, the two little girls, have them sitting in the teacups, and the background is all napkin. Ooh, now it got really dark. Got it too dark there. Okay. Yeah, napkins. Okay, this one is sticking. I don't know why. What did I put on there? I bet I didn't let it dry. All right, so this was a Jane Davenport napkins. Jane Davenport, and you can get it at Michael's or at her site, she sells packages of, I think she calls it collage papers, but they're napkins. And these are her girls. And so I used her napkins and then put them all in space. So all this is paint. I drew my own universes in the background. The stars and all that is paint. But the girls are all the Jane Davenport napkins. This is napkin right there. That's napkin. And then all the background is just painted in with paint. This extended the paint out here, painted in the stars and all that. So that's using the Jane Davenport. You're gonna get all the signs. Aw, it's fun. It's easy really. It's easy to do. Okay, some blank pages there. Then this one, the sunflowers are napkins, painted in the dirt. He's from a color book page. Cut him out, colored him and cut him out, and then I added stickles to the sunflowers. And then painted in the stars and the planets and the glow. See all that stuff like this? Like that little glow around the planet? That's color pencil. That's white Prisma on top of paint. Paint, it just gives you a tooth for your pencil to stick to. It's fun with the cups, yeah. Some blank pages here. Then some napkin. So just anytime I got a new napkin, I would glue it in, and it's awaiting something to be done to it. Okay, here's another one. This is a fairy out of one book, and I think the birds out of another book. All this background here, that's all napkin. This is a color book page. This is a color book page. She's a separate color book page, and they're all just elements cut out and then glued down, painted in, and then I added stickles to her wings. She's got stickles on her, a little bit of stickles in the bird. So, yeah. Yeah, you like the Jane napkins? Yeah. And again, this is just there. Okay, here's two of Juliet Crane's Little Creatures. This was a collage element. I think I cut that moon off of a calendar. I just stickled it. All the yellow flowers in the background, all the daffodils, that's napkin. And then I put stickles on the moon. And then, of course, they're cut out and added on top. And then paint grass and paint the stars, and you paint all that in. You blend it in. So that's the napkin journal, which needs to be fixed. Like I said, I need to packing tape that back together. So don't put a bunch of wads of napkins in your napkin journal and expect the spine to hold up. But anyway, so this is just a day book. You can use anything. You can use any journal. It doesn't have to be, you can make one. You can make one out of your chipboard, like I did the big, this one. You could make your own, like this. Chipboard, duct tape. You can make your own. Anything. You could use the napkins over the top of a magazine page. Oh, but let me say something. One thing that you do need to know about using napkins, I will say this. When you got your thin napkin, right? You took the back off of it, so that's just a thin piece like this. You want to start with the napkins first, rather than painting. For instance, if you started with the paint, let me get to a clean page here. If you start with the paint versus a blank page. So look at this napkin on the blank page. See how translucent it is and bright? Maybe I should have picked one with color, but see how it's very translucent, crisp, and bright? If you start with the napkin on a painted page, look at the difference. See how dull that is? Look, let me... See the difference? So you want to glue your napkin on a white page, or this is off-white, but you don't want to glue it onto paint unless you want that look. Nothing wrong with that, that's what you want. But if you start by gluing your napkin on a white page, you're going to have a much more clear, crisp color than gluing it on a painted page. So start with that, okay? That's just a little tip for you. Then go in and paint around and paint in. But you want to start with a white or off-white or light color, I should say. Here, let me do it with this. Let me do it with show you the difference here. Can y'all see the difference in the brightness of the colors? See how much more bright that is on the white than it is on the black? So, just FYI, start with a light color paper. Okay, so moving on from the napkin journal now, we're going to go into my collage journals. My Dylusions journals, I have 4 of these sitting here to show you. They're not completely full. Some are more full than others. But before I do that, I'm going to show you some of my collage pages that have been deconstructed out of other journals. So these have been taken out of other journals, and like this one's from 2012. They're not varnished. I don't even know that necessarily they're all complete. Some have just been done, I think, on just cardstock. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you some of these because it's the same type of thing, but these are just older. So these are older than the ones in my Dilutions journals. And all my Dilutions journals, I have done a faux leather technique on them. There's a video on that. I'm not sure. It's probably in the mixed media. Just look for faux leather or something like that. Or put in leather book and it should come up in a YouTube search. So these are probably mostly from 2012. These are mostly from when I first started streaming. Let's see, when did I first start? 10. I started streaming in 2010. So these are like, these were done on stream, probably, most of them were done on a stream, but it was before I started uploading to YouTube. Because I've only been uploading to YouTube, I think, going on in between 4 to 5 years. So these were before I uploaded to YouTube. This was a double page spread. Here's the backs of some. So like this was a double page spread in a journal. And so I probably deconstructed some journals for whatever reason. Sometimes I just take journals apart, keep what I like. But anyway, so yeah. This is a half of one. I don't know where the other half has Mona Lisa on it. I think I see, yeah, this one. This is a half. How did I have it? Was it like this? I think that was something. No, was it this way? Because I had a way to do it up. See, her hands are upside down. So anyway, this, I think it goes like that. So this was a double page spread in one of my art journals. Thanks, Kalora, and good to see you, by the way. And see, there's stuff on the back. This is the basis for my painting of, I did a painting of Darcy, UK Darcy. Oh, I guess that did go that way because that is upside down. And I based a painting off of her. So these are just different, and they're all different ways. They're on a shelf. I think this went this way. Yeah, this way. So that was a double page spread. So these are just kind of some of my mixed media collages that have been taken out of journals, or just maybe were just done on a piece of cardstock, you know. But it's the same type process. Some of these, like this one, I know for a fact. This was done in 2011. This one's from 2011, and this is on my Ustream slideshow. I call this one the Seed of Life. That is blood platelets right there. There's the world. So this one, you know, some of them I've named. Yeah, Seed of Life, 2000. That was 2011. This one I called All the Marbles. This is from 2011. So some of these are older, before I started uploading to YouTube. But I'm trying to kind of show you in order of the processes that I've been doing all these years. So that's All the Marbles. And I still use marbles as planets. This was 2011. Did I name this one? City on a Hill. Sometimes I name them and say, sometimes I don't. See the pearls in this one. These are 2011. 2011. 2011. Just tons of them. More 2011. 2011. What did I call this one? Axis. I called this one Axis. I'm just determined to get through all these guys. Here's another Whirling Dervish. This was a cover. I kept that because of the Whirling Dervish. I know I did. Love this one. Again, just more. I think we did a sample. This was for a sample to how to show light. That was a demo. Another one from 2011. This one is on my what do you call it, a slideshow. I call this one Still Life. Still.life. Still.life. So I hope y'all are kind of getting something out of this. I think that one went with, this is half of another page. Sorry, I'm whistling. So you can see I've done a few collages in my life. You remember we were doing the Pearl page, Kathy Gavert? This one's 2013. Some have dates, some don't. This one is actually varnished. It's one of the only, I think it's the only one in here varnished. This is probably a half, there's probably another half in there, I don't know. I think I started a painting off of this one. Here's a, this one is on a board. So that's all paint. Painted in. This one's from 2013. A couple of these are from 2013. Thanks, Terry. And you see I had lots of water in this one. This is 2013. Some of these I think I just signed them because I put them up on my slideshow. And so I signed and dated them. But I like this one too. This one's 2013. Thanks, guys. These are just some magazine ladies. Kind of blended in. I don't know. Same for her. This has text. This is texture paste on here. I was testing out some, you know, like texture paste through a stencil. So that's got texture on it. Here's some bits. Okay, this is a double page spread here. It goes this way, I think. No, it goes this way. It's got some paint there or something. So that is some of my, see the watch underwater there? Made it look like it was like just barely under the surface, painted in some water. So these are some of my loose collages. Again, I pull a random stack because there's, I just, you know, I should take a picture of this on the floor when I'm done. Okay, so now, and I probably, after I go, I'm going to show you these 4 Dylusion journals, and then I'll do a separate hour showing my altered books. I'll put that in a separate one after this. Then I can take a quick break and get something to drink. So I'll spend the next 30 minutes or so going through these journals, my Dylusions journals, and then I'll stop and I'll do a separate part of a flip through all my altered books. Okay, so these, and again, I think I kept, yeah, I did. This is what they come looking like this. This comes wrapped around it, the Dylusions Creative Journal. and they're craft colors. They're the, you know, just like your craft color envelope. Like, well, do I have any that I've pretty much painted them all in. Anyway, so I did a faux leather type covers, and I did different ones. I did this color, and they're dirty now, guys. They've got glue and paint and other stuff, but they have, I did varnish them after I painted them. So I have one this color, one with a little bit more copper in it, and then this one is a dark chocolate brown cover, and then I collaged this one, and they're all varnished, so you can see. So this one's got my collage on it. But these three, and let me see which one. I think this is which is the oldest one? I think this one might be the oldest. I think they go like, I'm trying to get them in order. Probably not, but okay. Is so cool to see you. Oh, thanks, Thanks, Kathy Caver. Over the 8 years I've been streaming, yeah. Okay, so again, I did cover, you know, and I told all the colors. I can't tell you now what colors, and I don't know where the video is. It's in my playlist somewhere. This one is from 2013, so this was my first Dylusions journal. Got this one in 2013. Let me adjust this light there. Move these over because that's blocking the light. There we go. And I started this was the first one I bought, and what I wanted to do was I was thinking about doing it as a calligraphy journal. I thought I would do a lot of fancy, because I used to do calligraphy back in the 80s, you know, early 90s. I did a lot of calligraphy, and you know, when computers kind of took over fonts and things like that, and anybody could just print any calligraphy out, you know, it just kind of went the way of, you know, technology. But anyway, so I thought, well, I'm going to get back into doing some calligraphy again and hand drawing some letters. These are just hand drawn letters, and that was what I had planned to do with this book. Well, it lasted this long. It lasted this long, and then I said, no, I think I want to do collage. So a lot of these pages are in varnished, and you can see half the book is done and half of it is not, but there is stuff glued down here, so you can, I'm going to kind of show you the process again. So this, as opposed to my altered books. With an altered book, and that's why I tell people, if you want to start with collage, start with an altered book, because you're not starting with a blank space. You don't have to, of course, you can do whatever you want. But if you really want to start doing any kind of imaginative collage, if you have an altered book as a base, then you have some, you're not starting with a blank page. All these started as a blank page. And then have some collage, like this is where they go. Let me go ahead and, I'll go ahead and, let's start with the ones where there's nothing done to them yet. So they'll start with something like this, okay? They'll start with things like this. And of course, I add more detail, like I like adding watch parts and jewels, or, you know, there's specific things that I like to, here's just a piece of collage in here. There's things I like to add as I go, but this is what I start with. This is how all my collages on a blank page, not talking about the, there's one that's got more, I'll skip that one because that one's done. When you don't have an altered book, with something to start with. So these are how they start. And probably I moved on to a new journal, and that's why these pages are in this state of limbo. I can go back and work on any of these anytime we want, you know, add more collage and then paint them in. But this is how my collages begin. Oh, that's a finished one. I wasn't going to show you the finished ones yet. Okay. Now, let's go back to the front. If they're varnished, they're done. A lot of them are not varnished, so I don't consider them done unless they're varnished. But let me see if I need to zoom in. Am I good? Yeah, I think I was good there. Okay, so let me adjust the lighting now that we got, now that we're kind of going into a dark page. Okay. And these pages, I didn't really tell, I should have measured some of the other ones. I didn't. The book itself is like 9 by 12 thereabouts. And what I like about the Dylusions Journal is the spine is not connected. See, the spine, so you don't have to worry about the spine. I mean, obviously you can see where it warped because I didn't go front to back enough, but it's not connected to the spine. They're made that way. The one that's gorgeous has a fish and peacock feathers. This is fish. There's no peacock feathers on this. That's all painted in. And watch parts. The fish, and then this is all paint. And I'm trying to keep because it is varnished, so I'm trying to keep the glare off. Okay, so these are from 2013. Maybe I need to prop it up just a tad. Let me just put, let me get something, because I got a glare. Let me get my usual little book that sits here to prop up, just a little, just to take there we go. Because I do have my light here, but it's because of the varnish. The varnish is making it glare. It's a little too much propping up, I think. Okay. So... And the varnish, see, I mean, there's no sticking at all. It's just like they're smooth as silk. It's just, I love that. There's just no, it's like they just flow. And again, the varnish that I use is this Delta Ceramcoat Gloss Exterior Interior Varnish. Now, you don't have to use this, but I would suggest that whatever kind of varnish you use, you test it. Like, I never close a page till overnight. So, like, I would varnish this. It only takes a little bit of varnish. I put a little wad of varnish in there, spray it once with water, with the spritz, you know, with the sprayer, spray, and that just keeps it flowing enough, because it's thick. And then use a sponge brush. Don't use a paint brush, because you'll get brush marks. If you use a sponge brush, you know, those cheap, 10-cent sponge brushes on a wood stick, use that, and you can rinse them out and keep the brushes, but it won't make any brush marks. And leave it open overnight. As long as it's completely dry, it will not stick. Okay? So... I'll just do a little flip. It's a little, off kilter because of the varnish, but I want you to be able to see it. And I started a painting of this one. Again, I like to use my collages as references, as bases, as sketches for bigger paintings. But I just don't take the time to do that much anymore, guys, especially after I went back and started doing portraits. Then my paintings based off my collages kind of went to the wayside when I started getting back into portraits. And now I'm trying to go away a little bit from portrait commissions, so I can do other things. So kind of moving a little bit this way. Thanks, Button. You haven't seen these before? Yeah, these are from 2013. See if I can kind of... There's a piece of paper there. But I had requests from, on my list, I showed that earlier. This was the list that I have of people asking me to do something. And this is all the stuff I want to do. And one of them was to show all my art journals. So that's what I'm trying to do today. So after I finish going through these dilutions, I'm going to stop and then I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll come back for an hour or so and do show my altered abandoned books as a separate video, because we'll run out of time here on this segment before I could show that. This one I kept as my cell phone background for a long time. 2013. I kept this one a long time as my background because I just love this right here. This is one of your favorites. Oh, thanks, Norma. I like this one. See how they're looking at each other? And it's like they have the same brain. See how they have the same brain? I got this one, got two paths there. Did you use the Delta Ceramcoat varnish? Yes. Yes, on the covers too. The only varnish I use is this at this time. You know, if this goes away, some people, you know, my Michaels quit selling. Hobby Lobby still has it. You still get it online. But, you know, I'll have to find something different. I like this one too. I like this. Trying to prop it up. Okay, this is not varnished. Now we're starting to get into the ones that are not, if they're not done, they're not varnished. So I don't consider them really complete until they're varnished. So this is not done. See, I've got to put clouds and all kinds of things in here. But this is not done, not done. And then of course I already flipped through all that for you. All that I flipped through here, the starts of all that. Oh wait, but there is one or two in there that's done. This one's done. There should be a video of this one, I think. This one was more recent. This was just in the last year or two. Probably the last year. Because I came across this page with the owls on it. And so I continued on. I finished it here on stream one day, but it's not varnished yet. But yeah, this one's more recent. And then you can see there's different ones not done. And I think I have one more in here that is done. Here it is. This one's done, but it's not varnished yet either. There's another one that's not varnished. This one's not done. That one's not done. And then a couple more just starts. So this was my first dilutions, and it started in 2013. So there's that one. And I don't know what order. I don't know if I've got dates in these. These would have been within the, or that one's 2016. What's this one? 2015. So I think this was probably the next one. This is 2015. And again, I painted all the inside. The binding was already red, so left the red. This is rice paper. Okay, so this is 2015. And this one is another one where I use color book pages. Okay, I think this one was designated to do collage and color book pages. This one doesn't have any color book page on it. It's got some napkin. No, that's Tim Holtz music paper. I wanted to incorporate our color book pages in with my collage. So I think this book I dedicated to that, although there's not a color book page, I don't think, on every one. But like this one, there's no color book page. There are some of my cameo silhouette birds. But this is all collage and paint. This is my little time travelers. I love doing my time travelers. So, yeah. And these aren't, I don't think any of these are varnished either. I don't know that I'll varnish these because of the color book pages. I don't even remember what I colored some of the color book pages with, so it'd be a little tricky to varnish because you can't varnish over water medium. Now I know you can fixative your stuff. I hate the smell of fixative. I do not use fixative at all. I will leave a page unvarnished, undone before I use fixative. I hate the smell of fixative. So, but if you don't mind the smell, take it outside, of course. And fixative anything that you have color book, anything that you don't trust to put wet medium over because it will smear, right? It'll smear. This is one of my drawings. This is a little, my biker pug. And we drew him on a stream one time. And he's got his helmet, he's got a bone in his ear, he's got a spiky collar, he's got a mom tattoo. And we just drew him one day on the show. And I cut him out and I put him in here. And she's going, oh, be still my heart. Oh, be still my heart. And then this is probably Dilutions. I don't know. See, again, this might reactivate with water. So you got to know what you're using, because if it reactivates and you go to put varnish on it and all this smears, then don't email me. So again, all right. So that's a color book. No, that's out of a calendar. I guess there's no color book page on this. So this, I started with this little bit of collage right here. This little bit right here is collage. And then all this is paint. Like I painted a world based on that little bit right there. See right there, that little bit right there, that's collage. And then I just painted all this out. You like the pug? Yeah. So anyway, okay, no, that's not a color book page either. I was thinking she was, but she's not. She's out of a Art Deco book. He's out of a calendar or something. And then all that's paint. There's a collage flower. Painted all this in. Painted my universe in. Okay, now we're into the color book. Okay, so these 3 giraffes were in a create space. And here's another thing to remember if you want to use your color book elements in. And I know no one's going to cut up their Hannah Carlzon or their Serena. These are my creative, what do they call create space papers in my head. Creative Haven books, like your ones that you can get for $3, $4, and all that. Let's wait for the garage to come up. And so anyway, these 3 giraffes were like clustered on one page. Well, just because they're clustered on one page doesn't mean you can't cut them out and use them all over the page. So these giraffes were colored, and remember, color and cut them, and then don't try to glue them down and then color them. Because if you have elements where you've glued, like this flower, you can feel the texture, right? You can feel where you've glued other things down. If you try to color a page, a thin paper page, on top of something that has an edge, you're going to pick that up when you go to color it. So color the elements, cut them out, and then glue them on. Okay, and then you can blend them in or whatever you want to do. So this is a piece of, that's some Dover clip art. This isn't done. This is a Dover clip art arch. This is from a book here. This is a color book page right here. It's not done. This is not done. This is again out of the Dover color book, with just a wash over it. So this has just got different bits. This is from, this I did color from and cut out. It's not glued down yet. From the Look book, the Look color book. And so I did make a copy of her to color and put in this book. But she's from the Look book, and she's colored in color pencil. So you see her jean jacket, their vest, freckles. So I really like her, but she's not glued down yet. But this is where she'll live, I'm sure. Well, I'm not really sure. What year was this one? This one's 2015. Although I'm not sure when I stuck her in here. I've had the lookbook's probably been around 2015. So maybe 2015. I mean, the book itself is, the date is 2015. The other one was 2013. Again, just more. This one, this is from the Somerset color book, the Somerset Studio color book, I think. And then some of the flowers, and then I colored them, and then cut them out. Don't glue them down and then try to color, because you're going to get bumpies. And you'll email me and say, I got bumpies. This is out of two or three different fairy books. And again, colored, cut them out, glued them on. There's some collage bits, and then paint. This one's not done. That one's not done, but she's out of one of the Creative Haven. No, I don't think she's out of the Creative Haven. I still haven't got coffee, since you left.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to go ahead and make that meatloaf.
No, I'll make the meatloaf. You don't know how. I'll make it.
All right.
I'll make it.
Okay.
I make a special meatloaf, and he goes, I'll go ahead and make the meatloaf. No, I'll make the meatloaf. You're not going to make it right. So she's out of the Book of Fairies. And again, the background here is probably Dylusion Sprays. This one's out of the Steampunk. She's not finished. I think I stuck her in here as a sample one day. She's not glued down, but she's out of the Tattoo color book. And then this is out of a Dover clip art. This one's done. No color book page. Just oh wait, these butterflies are out of a color book that has one side colored and one side blank, and these were the colored parts. These are the butterflies that were, and moths that were colored for you for samples. No grilled cheese. I'm gonna make meatloaf. This one's done, and thank you. These are two girls out of a fairy tale book, and this is a hand. She's writing on a hand there. I don't know if you can see that. Look at gift horse in the mouth. This one we did on a stream one day. These are all these little I did this Goldilocks and her 50 bears or something. These are little bears out of a color book, and then the rest is just collage. Not done. These are out of one of the Creative Haven Art Deco or something, one of their color books. Those girls right there. Colored them, cut them out, and placed them on here. She's out of one of the Creative Haven Flower Girl. It's all their dresses are made out of flowers, and so colored her and kind of painted her in, put some little squiggles of white pencil around her. Not done. It doesn't bother me that they're not done. I know some people got to go front to back, have everything done. It does not. I will go on to a page that I worked on 4 or 5 years ago, pick it up and add some more to it. I don't mind doing that. This is I think that's a Dover clip art angel. This is out of the Steampunk Creative Haven. This is a Steampunk Creative Haven. Not done. See how it's not blended in? It's not done. Look, not done. So, yeah. This one's done. Steampunk Creative Haven couple. And don't be afraid if you use something out of your color book as a collage element. Don't be afraid to paint. Look, I ran the paint right up over them. See, it's paint right up on top of them. It helps blend them in. There's another time traveler there. And then all the rest, see, that's all paint in the background there. Paint, the water, the mist, that's all paint. Let me take a sip of coffee here. Love this just like it is. This is one where I don't put many 3D elements. Like, I have tons of scrapbooks when I scrapbooked, voraciously before I started streaming. So I don't put many things with dimension on, but Colleen sent me these tags, some little coffee things and flowers. So I did use some tags that had some knots on them and ribbon. I use those in here in these flowers, but for the most part I don't use any dimensional items that are puff thick or that can't be glued flat. That's one of the best things I've learned is okay to a page not done. Oh yeah. Oh please don't never feel like you have to finish a page right there before you can move on. Now, not that if you do that, there's nothing wrong. Do that, whatever makes you happy. But like especially in my altered books, which I'm going to do in the next segment, there's no way I'm going to completely finish one page before I touch another. Same thing for this. I mean, I like this as it is. If I never get back to it, I like it like it is. Here's one that's done. Another steampunk, Creative Haven steampunk girl. I put wings on her with peacock feathers. These are just the negative space of my cameo cutout birds. I made it a stencil. This one's not done. These are Dover clip art. Not done. You see though how I've got just random collagey stuff, but how it all kind of ties together with color. Stencil, using up stencil, more flower stuff. This one's done. This one started out as some stenciling, like leftover stencil, ABC stencil, and after I put that down, and these are little fish are out of a Creative Haven book, cut out, colored and cut out. It looked like a fish tank tower. So I just drew a few little extra lines and made it look like an aquarium type thing. So that's done. But again, there's like 3 colors. Like there's purple, orange, and black, with the little accents of a couple other things. But if you stick with, like, look here, green and purple, blue, black, and white. If you stick with a couple colors, 3, stick with like 3 colors. Hey, Miss Vicky B, I'm just doing a tour of all my collage journals over the last, since 2008, 10 years. This is a color book page right there. I mean, an element. It's not glued down yet. But if you stick with like 3 main colors and maybe a couple accent colors, whatever you're doing, color book page, art journal, collage, if you stick with 3 to 5 colors, you're not going to go wrong. She's out of a Creative Haven floral book. This is like a seaweed, and it's like a portal under the sea. This one's not done. That one's we just did some random, these are just some drawings. This is that's a color book page there. But you see the colors? Everything's just got a minimal colors. And that will tie everything together. If if you think about your colors, you can tie anything together. I'm telling you. Whatever it is, you can put a fish and a flower and a bird together. And you tie them together with color, and it'll work. There's my peacock, and then this is just all collage stuff. This one's just a random bunch of collage glued down. This is the kimono color book. Nothing done. Again, just look at the color, blue and red. So yeah, so that was 2015. take a picture of all these books on my floor. Okay, this one doesn't have that much in it. It's got some starts, but I don't know why I moved on. This is 2016. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I think it's around this time that I started doing my abandoned books. So I kind of abandoned these books. I kind of abandoned these books, these two. I kind of abandoned them when I went into abandoned books. But this one's done and it's varnished. See the shine? And this one's got quite a bit of detail in it. I mean, a lot going on. Some of my collages don't have a lot going on. This one's got quite a bit going on. Story-wise, this one's kind of more complicated. They're not all that. Let me prop it up with a glare. So you can see these are in process. This is what they start out as. So this one's done. And this one, everybody teased me, looked like cinnamon rolls. I was trying to do a gold and white wind, and it just didn't turn out. See, not everything turns out. So that look, and then I try to put stickles on it. Let's stickle it and see if that'll make it work. No, still looks like a cinnamon roll. That little wind just did not work. So everybody teased me that looked like a cinnamon roll, and it does. So, but I like everything else. I could just cover this up, but, you know, I left it to show not everything turns out like you want it to. But I varnished it over and said, I'm done with it. And I don't put people very much in my collages either. I do it occasionally because I just, you know, people like seeing people in collages. But I feel like, and that's true with pretty much all my art, it's like you are the person in the painting. You are the person in the collage. And so, you know, like she's looking back at you, but, you know, I want the person that's looking at it to be the person in the painting. So you're the person going to walk up this hill to that castle, unobstructed by a person. Now, I do love this one. This is my Native American woman, old lady praying. And I did actually, this is real glitter in here, Martha Stewart glitter. And this feather is one of my die cuts off of my Cameo. And so there is, I mean, it's varnished too, so it's shiny. But there's also real glitter on this one. And I don't like using real glitter because it comes off, it gets in your eyes. And then I think I stickled in her hair. I'm trying to get the shine without the varnish showing. But I love this one. This is one of my favorites. I love her. I really love this one. And then I did a stairway here. So her prayers are going to heaven. I love this one. Did I mention I love this one? Yeah, it is the same process, Limo. And that's what I was saying. The only difference between my collage Dylusion journal and the way I do a abandoned place is that with an altered book, I should say, any altered book, is that you have something to work with. You have something to start with. Where here I'm starting with blank. You know, I'm starting here. This is what I start with. So. You like her too? That's one of your favorites too, Terry? I'm going to make a note of something. Okay, making myself a note. So I do love that one. Let me put a note there. So again, this is what they look like to start. And it's harder for most people that never done collage. It's harder for most people to start with nothing and glue stuff down than it is to start with a book that's already got something in it. But again, look at the colors. Gray, blue, and an ochre red, a sienna red. Browns and blues. Now this one's done, and I did this one on stream. This is 2016. This was from 2016. Picked the book back up, and we did this. And every now and then, I don't do them too often because it does take a little more thought. A reversible page, so you can look at it this way or this way. It works both ways. So it's like a reflection page, I call it, reflections. So it's like it can work this way or it can work this way. And that one's varnished, it's done. So here's some more that are just in process, you know. And again, I think this is about the time when I was working in this book. This is about the time I started doing, I mean, I did this book too. I'm not sure the dates on this one. But I started in doing altered books, working back in altered books. So there's a lot not done in here. That doesn't mean I won't go back to it. Y'all know I'll go back and forth to all these books. All right, and the last one of my dilutions is this one, which I do have a full-on look. It blends right into the background. A full-on collage on this one, and it's all varnished, and it's front, back and front. There's my little monk right there, and this I did in 2016. So there's the little monk in this world. He's in this world. You remember all these Misthos strings? Aw, Terry. I knew you were going to say that the books are easier because you have something to start with. Yeah. And as soon as I flip through this one, I'm going to stop this recording and go get something to drink, take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back and show you my stack of, where are they? I've got stacks of books everywhere. Oh, wait, I did want to show this one real quick, too. My 5... we'll do this on the next segment. My 5 abandoned books. Okay? We'll do that after the break. But I did want to show this too. Oh, look, Norma. I glued that little heart on the front, on the hand. Norma sent me that. And I had set it on that hand. Said, oh, that looks so good on there. Well, I did, in fact, glue it down. I glued that on the hand. Okay, so let's finish this Dilutions book. Here's a cover. I did go ahead and collage. This is what the whole book looks like. If you don't paint it, I'll probably end up painting this black eventually. But I did a whole collage on this one and on the inside cover. So this is all collaged and varnished as well. And again, if they're varnished, they're done. And there's probably, everyone in here that's done, there's probably a video for. I don't know how many there are. I did start skipping around because I took my own advice. And if you don't want your spine to warp, you go front to back, you move around in the book. I know some people can't do that. I know some people cannot skip around in any, and leave things half done. But I feel more inspired, more imagination, more creativity if I do that. I don't force myself to lock in on one thing until you're done. Because if you do that, you can say, okay, I'm not going to move on until I finish this. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to turn the page until this page is done. It's almost like you're just stifling yourself. It's like you're forcing yourself to go, I got to finish that. I can't move on. My imagination is stuck right here on this page until it's done. And for me, that just does not work. If you're one that can do that, good on you. I cannot do that. And even when I'm doing all different pages, I still have to have some kind of notebooks and Society of Idea Collectors stuff. So, Post-it notes where I continuously write down more ideas that I can't even get to. And that's why I tell people, you really got to write down your ideas because you're not going to have time to do them all. You will never in your life have time. I do them all the time, Joy. It's not been that long. It hasn't been that long. Just go look in my mixed media playlist. I think I have a mixed media, I have a collage, I have art cards. I've got about 15 playlists. Go look at my playlist. If you're watching this video, I've got tons of things broken out in playlists, color books, you know, all different kinds. But there's a video of this. And so here's how it starts on a blank page. This is from one of the, I think I've gone through 3 Abandoned Places books and calendars, abandoned calendar, Abandoned Places calendars, and these are like some of those out of those books. I do have one book, Abandoned, that I'm working in, but I have other ones that I use for cutting up. Again, the start of different ones. And this is when you start from scratch. These are starting from scratch. Okay, and then I have some space here, and then there's another one. And then I've got some started here. And I think it was, like I said, it was around this time that I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and work in the Abandoned Places book. Here's one that's finished. Again, it started as a blank page. My tiger, I've got a few tiger pages. I like using tigers. Of course, my watches and stars, nebulas, water, mist. I have certain things that I like to use a lot. And I haven't moved past that stage. I haven't moved past my time, space, water, mist, fog stage. I'm still in that stage. Like Picasso in the blue stage and whatever. So again, here's more starts. This one's done. Another tiger page. This is 2016. Like a Saturn type planet there. I just love making worlds. I love making worlds. And if I can take, in my Abandoned book, if I can remake those worlds, even better. Here's where I started from scratch. Started these worlds from scratch. But, here's another one. This one was pretty time consuming. We spent a good 3 hours or more on this one. This was very detailed. A lot of detail in this one. And I still didn't love the way this is supposed to flow into baby planets. And it just wasn't quite what I wanted it to do. But, nobody would probably know that if I didn't say. But I wasn't happy with my little baby planets being birthed. Birthing my baby planets there. But, like my angel there. And these planets and over here, that turned out good. And then all down in here, the little tiny waterfall and the little drainage ditches made out of watches down there. I like that. I like these little see-through worlds there. I like doing those little translucent worlds right here. I really like those. Hey, CB. Thanks, CB. But this right there, I mean, it's okay, but it's not exactly what I envisioned. And that happens. That's why I said if I did DigiArt, I think I could rock some of these worlds with Digi. But it takes time to learn Digi. Here's another one of these. I did a full-on Abandoned Places page with tiger in it from that. This one, here's one of those pages that I do not like. There is nothing I like about this. I don't know if I rushed it. Well, I like the planets. I don't know if I rushed it, if I was doing it. I don't think I did this one on stream. I didn't, the way the fish is coming through again. See, if this is where if I did Digi, I could rock this. He's supposed to be bursting out of the water. And I didn't capture that. It just did not capture him bursting out of the water. That's my vision, but I didn't have the technicality of it right. But I varnished it so that I would keep it and say, you know, not every page has to be perfect to move on, you know. But I know myself that this is not what I have in my head. So it needs to be a splash and a, see, it has to have that sound. Oh, so anyway, so yeah, so there's other things going on. So those are my Dilutions journals. And real quick, I'm going to show this one because this one's still kind of in progress. Where I did a bunch of backgrounds a few weeks ago with gesso and our FW inks that we all got at Hobby Lobby when they were on clearance for $1 or whatever. That's what most of these are. And some of the backgrounds that I'm using for my, if I ever get back to them, my Society Idea Collector, my Society 6 phone cases, which will look like this. So what I did, and I did it old school, well, I did a little bit of Procreate, so there's a video on this. So I drew him, for example, in one of my sketchbooks. I cut him out, I photographed him, and then went into Procreate. Oh, wait, let's back up. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. I drew him. I cut him out, and I put him on here. I put him on one of my backgrounds that I'd already done in this book. Photographed him, moved him into Procreate, did some tweaking, gave him an umbilical cord, tweaked the stars, put the little feathery bits on his antenna, because I didn't cut those all out, right? So I added the little antenna, feathery bits, and tweaked